Thank you for listening to the Gateway to the Rockies podcast from Visit Aurora from the rafters of the Stanley Marketplace. This is the show dedicated to telling the stories of Aurora, Colorado. Hi there, I'm Dave, the Senior Marketing Manager for Visit Aurora. Today, I'm excited to welcome Carla Ferreira, Principal Developer and CEO at the Aurora Highlands, a transformative community reshaping the future of Northeast Aurora. Carla has played a pivotal role in blending innovative development with public art and vibrant community amenities. The Aurora Highlands, of course, is also the home to the much anticipated Aurora Borealis Festival. Carla, I can't imagine how busy you must be. Thank you for the time.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited, and it's also my first time being in this area. I love Stanley Marketplace, but I didn't even know that there were offices up here. Super cool. We've been very busy trying to get the site ready for the Aurora Borealis Festival, and also with my recent promotion, I've taken on a lot more responsibilities, but right now we are really working to make sure that the site looks absolutely beautiful and there's as much art as there can be for the festival.
I want to get into all your CEO stuff. First, want to take it back to maybe not the beginning, but early in your career. 2011, you're working the front desk at the Hard Rock Hotel in Vegas. What was the most bizarre request or call you got while working the front desk? Do you recall anything that was like, all right, this is quintessential Vegas?
Yeah. Do you really want me to tell you the craziest?
If you're able to.
Okay, so I was still going to UNLV, and this was one of my official first jobs. Where I wasn't an intern, but I was full-time. Mm-hmm. So my first 40-hour-a-week job. And I thought it would be super fun to work 4 10-hour shifts in a row, so that way I could have a 3-day weekend every week.
Right.
But when you're low on the totem pole, I worked at the front desk hoping to move into marketing. And so my family friends that were like, it's very Vegas-y. They're like, you got to start at the front desk, and then they're going to pull you from the front desk to go to marketing. But you got to give it like 6 months. Let me tell you, I didn't last 6 months. I lasted like 4 months. And it was really difficult. So I had to stand all day. Oh. And you can't sit or lean against the front desk. The Hard Rock is no longer that property anymore. It's now Virgin. Right. But you can't lean against the desk. You have to stand. And so it was really hard for me for my first time on this job to stand and not really have a place to walk around, but stay mobile, immobile for 10 hours a day. And then I was on graveyard. So I saw all the craziest things you would ever want to see, because I saw all the craziness the night before, and then everybody walking back in doing the walk of shame the next morning. The craziest thing is that if you have a guest in your hotel room, but you've checked out, but your guest has not, he or she can do whatever they would like in the hotel room. Oh. And the original person on the reservation still has to take care of it. Right. So let's say John Smith from Iowa has a room and he's married, but he has a guest that he's not married to in his room, and he checks out the next day, but that guest stays. So the wife calls and is like, what are these extra charges? And we're like, ma'am, I'm so sorry. We really can't discuss this with you on the phone. Because I complained about standing, I then would go to customer service and be on the phones in the back. Oh, geez. So I could sit for a minute. So that was really funny. Also, our machines would go down all the time because the Hard Rock was renovating. Yeah. So then we'd have to manually scrape the cards instead of doing anything on the computer. The plumbing was really bad during this remodel. So the grossest thing was that we had this special on Groupon or something that you could get a room for $30 or $40 a night. So tons of people were coming there. So the older people were coming and they were really upset that it was like a party hotel. So they were complaining about the noise, but then they were complaining that there was literal shit coming up their shower drains in the morning. And I knew what was happening and I was not allowed to comment on it. And so I had to, with the sweetest, most stable face, be like, I am so sorry that this is going on. I have no idea why. Right. And here is a coupon for a free drink. That was all I was allowed to give out when these people were having plumbing issues in the new tower. But there was lots of other stories and crazy, crazy things. It was also when rehab was still open. The infamous famous club. Yeah, where they when people were leaving it one day or going in one day, they literally tore the doors down. Wow. the door frame like came apart from everybody just like mass exiting or entering.
I feel like I could do an entire episode just of your Vegas stories. That'd be phenomenal.
I mean, if you want to have me back, growing up in Vegas, I could tell you all the craziest stories. And yeah.
Your resume is absolutely fascinating, from media to hospitality to fine art sales at the Palazzo. Now you're leading the development of an entire community. Can you share a little bit about what led you to Aurora?
So our business partner, who's now more of a mentor, because we actually are starting to step away from the partnership a little bit, since my dad and I are taking over as the developers, and since he recently promoted me. But our partner that we bought the land from owned it for 30 years. And they actually owned the land that Green Valley Ranch is on, and were the financial backers that helped Oakwood Homes start.
Okay.
So the story with how we ended up with the land was that this was land that eventually Green Valley Ranch could have grown east over 470 and gone all the way over there. But that might have taken another 50 to 70 years just with the rate of growth. So when we first came on in 2014, my dad flew out here to come look at the land to see if he was gonna sell it off for his partner or what should be done with it. And he was like, you know what? Carla Nicole, that's what he calls me. He's like, I think we should do this together. I think we should do a development project. And I was still working in art, so I wasn't sure. And it took me until 2017 to be like, okay, I want to do this. And so we decided to do the Aurora Highlands, and our FDP was approved in 2017 or 2018, broke ground in 2018. And he really had this plan to do his legacy project. So this is the last project he'll ever do. He's 69. But the first we're doing together as a family, which is really great. I'm about to turn 35. So I'm exactly the age that my dad was when he had me. And so he's really grown his development business the last 35 years. And so I'm just taking over.
And you had a, front row seat, an apprenticeship almost growing up. He raised you, you're going to the office with him. Now, your collaborators, what's the dynamic like working with your father? How does that dynamic manifest? Is it amazing to work with your heroes? A little bit frustrating? Is it all the above?
I love it. A lot of people ask me this question all the time, and they're like, what's it like working with your dad? You guys must fight a lot. And honestly, we don't fight about work. We may disagree with each other about things in our separate personal lives. Yeah. But at work, we are very like, hey, this is for work. Whatever is the best for the business is the best for both of us. And I trust him and I take his lead on almost everything. So 99% of the time, if he says this is the right way to do it, I'm going to do it that way. And I don't question him in this authoritative role. But he's given me a lot of leeway and leverage and said, hey, go be creative over here. And if you get stuck, let me know. So he's been the best mentor, and our partners in Vegas have honestly been the best mentors to me. I feel like instead of getting an MBA or going to school for development, I'm really getting the first row seat to how to do this with, people around me that have 40 plus years experience, something I could never have imagined to have. But I will say my background in art and anthropology, I didn't think would help me, but did help me. And that one business law class I took at UNLV actually really helps me read contracts. But like the first thing my dad made me do, which I hated, was read all the contracts that came on his desk and read all his emails every day. And doing that for a year really helped me understand the complexity and what it is that we do. Going
a little bit deeper on what you just said, I mean, it's the perfect marriage of your art background and your experience working with your father. How has that shaped your approach to the Aurora Highlands and its development? We really wanted to bring his knowledge of how to, he always says, don't reinvent the wheel. If it's working, you don't need to reinvent it. But we're adding in little isms, little niche things that I would bring that maybe he wouldn't have thought of. The art park is a big thing. And also he just has this innate ability that you can't teach. He's always been given the cats and the dogs. So the pieces of land that are not the perfect squares, they're not the beautiful hard corners, they're just like the ugh parts. And a lot of our land in the Aurora Highlands was kind of the ugh cats and dogs. But what we've done is gone and amenitized and made the worst parts the best parts. So that's the biggest thing I've learned from him. And
The anthropology background just really helped me deal with people and also understand, what society might want and forecasting. We're forecasting not for just tomorrow, but right. 30 years, 50 years, 100 years in the future. So looking back at trends and how people live and how the future might be, we might not have 3 cars per household. We might have 1 car per household, because people are getting more green, more efficient. And we're also, working from home a lot more. No. And also the young people, I don't know if you've noticed, but they're not wanting to drive as much.
No.
So, connecting to RTD is also a big thing that we're going to do.
Part of the growth towards the future is this new E470 interchange. How do you see this improved access kind of impacting the growth and connectivity with the Aurora Highlands?
Connectivity is one of our favorite words to share and to talk about, because in 2014, when we first scoped the land and came out and we're like, what are we going to do with it? And then in 2017, you still couldn't really access our land right. or our neighbor's land, which is about 20,000 acres around us. We have about 5,000 acres, which is 6 square miles. And you really couldn't access it at all from anywhere. There wasn't an exit off of I-70, E470. There were no access roads. There was 26 in Gun Club. So Gun Club, we vacated right away because personally, as an Aurora resident, I didn't want my name being associated with the word gun. So I'm really, against gun violence. So vacating Gun Club and having a new road called Main Street, so you enter on 26 in Main, was really important to us. Having E470 has been life-changing because it makes it so much easier to get in and out, to go to and from work, to and from the airport. But the access that's going to be really key is I-70. We have a new interchange coming in the future called Aerotropolis, and it'll be kind of parallel to Pena to take people all the way to the airport, or with some curb cuts to come into Aurora Highlands. Then we also are continuing 38th. It goes to the east now to Monaghan, but it will go to the west and connect to Piccadilly. And that connection, which should be coming online in the next 12 to 18 months, is going to be really critical for everybody, because then we're connected to Denver.
And easing that strain on Pena has got to be a priority, I think, for everybody in the region, because I don't know if it was necessarily intended to be a main artery for people trying to get into neighborhoods. So now that definitely is important that we get relief in that area. So this is going to be a much welcome addition to the infrastructure.
Yeah, we really hope that it helps with traffic times and the traffic studies that have been done, because we work with the city of Aurora and with the state. And that's why it takes so long for these freeways and highways to come in, because CDOT works and the state and the government. Mm-hmm. So it takes a long time first to get the funding and then to do the design work. But seeing that E470 open and how beautiful it is, I know I-70 is just going to be another amazing thing. It's going to be our favorite exit probably, because it's also going to be creating a new entrance to Aurora Highlands. So we're designing that right now. And I actually have another piece of art that is going to go down at that new entrance. So it's going to be a 60-foot tall piece of art.
Okay.
And her name is Liberty.
Nice.
And we really think it's important, life, liberty, freedom, America. So it's something that'll really tie in all the other themes we have in Aurora Highlands.
You're welcoming tens of thousands of new residents. There are thousands there now, more on the way. How do you create that connective tissue that allows the community to maintain that sense of cohesion and connectedness as it grows? It feels like you and your team are very thoughtful about this.
Thank you. We try to host a lot of community events where we, and honestly, if it's going to be a sales event, we try to incorporate the community and the residents that are already there and ask them to bring their friends and family too. None of our events have ever been exclusionary. So we always invite everybody, whether you're home shopping, whether you already live here, whether you live in Green Valley Ranch or Denver or Fort Collins or anywhere, we want you to come and have a good time. So we try to throw quarterly realtor events, and we invite our neighbors to that, because there's a lot of realtors and real estate professionals, and also a lot of nursing and hospital professionals in our neighborhood, I've noticed, and airport. Mm-hmm. So they all like to come down to our events, but we do summer events. We had an art park party in July this year, one in August last year. We had 800 people pull tickets from Eventbrite in July, so that was really fun. But we really just try to continue to engage with the community by throwing events, and then also working with the local district so that they can start doing events with the residents and know what the residents really want. We're doing holiday house decorating contests, which is really fun this month, and we'll do another one in December.
This seems unique to me. It would strike me from the outside looking in from an admittedly ignorant place that a developer's role is, let's, throw in some houses, maybe a park or rec center. Okay, have fun. But you're building an actual community here with outreach and events. This is more than just marketing at play.
Well, I joke with my team and my family and friends, like I am the Aurora Highlands. Rather than introducing myself as Carla Ferreira everywhere I go, I just say, hi, I am the Aurora Highlands. And it's because for my dad and I, our career is us. Mm-hmm. The Aurora Highlands is our heart and soul. Like I said, this is a legacy project. It's the last one he's going to do. So it's kind of like the trophy for him to put on the shelf to say, I did this. We did this together. We put something beautiful. And it's a way for him to kind of be immortal, I think, to leave his touch on the land. And he really is very artistic and creative. And he grew up in a federal housing project. A lot of people know his story around town, but he didn't graduate from high school. He had to go into the Marine Corps at 17, and he didn't get to pursue college. Wow. And so he grew up in government housing in a really poor area in Vegas and previously in New York. And it was always his dream to be in these nice areas that he saw around town. And for me to go and have the best schooling I could have and to not have to live to work and be stressed out about what I was going to eat every night. So the idea of bringing community together and being able to live at whatever price point in this community, to share all these amenities, to go to all these beautiful new schools, whether you're going to be in a for-rent apartment or a townhouse duplex, or the house is over $1 million. We want everybody to be able to share and come together, and that's really the ethos of what we say with master plan development.
Aurora is an established city. We've got established communities here, but particularly in this Northeast corridor, you have a real opportunity to kind of shape the future of the entire city. What do you see that the role of the Aurora Highlands as it relates to job creation and economic growth and as an essential hub for the entire region?
So we are so thrilled that just in the development process, just the land horizontal development process, we've employed thousands of people, but we will see so many more jobs come online with us opening up this corridor. So it's not just the Aurora Highlands, but the whole Aerotropolis region, the 20,000 acres that we're within. There's going to be so many industrial buildings, offices, and businesses. There's going to be a hospital campus inside of our development. There's going to be shopping, dining, and retail in our development. So there's so many opportunities for people to come and live, work, and play here. So it's really amazing to be able to think that we're creating this economic driver and knowing that we're building pretty much the new downtown Aurora. Aurora doesn't have a downtown. We've been imagining how to build the downtown. And by doing that, we've been working with the city to have a civic annex, to have a police substation, to have a fire substation. And so you'd be able to maybe have your city services done there, like renew your driver's license, pay a parking ticket. So we really want it to be a space for everyone, since we are stretched out so far from the other parts of Aurora. We want it to be not just beneficial for the Aurora Highlands, but for the surrounding community.
Can you tell us what you're allowed to tell us about the planned infrastructure, schools, civic centers, amenities? Are there things that you're allowed to tell us yet, or is that still under pocket a little bit?
So I put as much as I possibly could on our website. We have some images where you can see illustrations of what our suggested civic center would look like. And with HKS, which is the architecture firm we worked with and the land planner that we worked with on this, they've shown us full 3D walkthroughs of what it could look like. And we have been working with Jason Batchelor at the city and really just saying what would be on your wish list. We've been working with the libraries and multicultural and arts department. What would you guys love? So all of this is still in the design phase. So it has a little asterisk on it because it could change. But we are really, really, really hoping that we do have a cultural annex and we do have a civic annex and we do have the police station and the fire station. And we've imagined these buildings will look a little bit Art Deco meets 21st century. Nice. So the design is really important for us. We also have shown in some of our designs mid-rise apartment buildings that look similar to those beautiful glass ones that are downtown. Can you remind me of what it's called?
I don't know.
It's by Little Raven.
Okay.
It's called... oh my goodness, I can't think of what it's called, but it's beautiful glass building.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been like my motivation and illustration for what it could be. So that way you can see apartments for executives and professionals that might be working in the hospital, and also just to get those people that aren't ready to buy a house yet.
Let's talk about Hogan Park. It's gained national attention for its stunning public art installations. I just want to personally thank you for giving us a landmark for us to gather and be proud of in Umi. One of the most breathtaking pieces of art I think I've ever witnessed, and it's part of our community. What inspired you to make art such a central part of the community?
Thank you so much. I'm a big fan of Umi, and I just remembered the name of my apartment building I love downtown. It's called the Confluence.
Nice.
So Umi, it was designed by Daniel Popper, who's a South African artist.
Yeah.
And he had done this exhibit in Chicago where he had several of his works on display all at once. I think maybe 9 different ones. And the Chicago Outdoor Museum was selling tickets for like upwards of $50, maybe more than that, to go and see all these things. And then I had gone to see Yeo Kusama's exhibit at the Bronx Botanical Gardens in New York. And I had spent like $50 or more for my ticket. It was like a 2-mile long art walk. They gave me a map. And then I went for free to see the National Sculpture Garden in DC. And I was like, wow, people are coming here for free, get to see amazing works. And there weren't just people from the museum as tourists, but there was like executives over there eating their lunches and people that work on the Hill. So I really liked how everybody was interacting with the art in different ways. And I love how in Central Park in the summer, because my family were Italian, a lot of them are from New York. I love how in the summer people just bring their blankets and or towels and just lay out on the grass. And it's really a community to come together. And the idea for Central Park didn't make sense, 100 years ago. People thought you were crazy for wanting to put this huge park in the middle of a big city. And now you couldn't imagine New York without it.
Right.
So Hogan Park is really our Central Park. And with my background in art, I knew I wanted to do something big and dramatic. But working with the city, I have to give a shout out to Roberta Bloom. She inspired me and pushed me so much the way an art teacher would or an art critic would. And together we really came up with how best to display the art. Originally, our original land planner back in 2015-16 had displayed 25 different pieces all over the community, just scattered around. And I remember sitting at the desk like, whoa, like if I wanted to see all 25 of these pieces, because I'm only going to pick super cool art.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to see them all in one day. And it would be kind of hazardous to drive around all these different places, hard to find. I was like, I really want to think back to those other inspirations and have it like an art walk. And so that's what we've done. We've curated a 2-mile long art walk. We put the 25 installations all along the walk. So that way you can start and stop at either end and see them all in one day if you want to. And because it's been so successful, we're doing more than 25 pieces. We've surpassed our requirement with the city.
Wow.
And we've done a lot more than many other developers in my industry have done.
Yeah.
The requirement was to spend $1 million in art because it's 1% of the development cost, and we have surpassed that, and we've committed to do a lot more than that.
It's really become a centerpiece for our community. Can you share the significance behind some of the recent pieces like Olivia Still and Snyder's Neon and Graffiti mural, or Michael, Benisti's Broken But Together? Talk about some of these new installations that I think are going to garner as much, if not more, attention than even Umi does.
So I was really thrilled to be able to get Michael Benesti he's an artist from Belgium, and I've seen his work for the last, almost decade. But the last 5 years, he's been very prolific. And he came out of the gate as an artist with these massive chrome sculptures. They're stainless steel with a chrome finish. And I was intimidated. How am I going to ask him if he wants to do art in the suburbs? And that's how I started the conversation with all these artists. They would love to do public art.
Right.
None of them had art in the suburbs, and most of them didn't have public art that's for free for everybody to come see in North America. So after we got Daniel Popper involved, and Olivia Steele, who's amazing and a great friend. I'm actually wearing this outfit from her.
Nice.
I had the confidence to say, okay, hey, Michael, what do you think? And Michael knows Olivia and Daniel. And he said, you know what? I really like what you've done. I like that this is in a place that people can come see it. So he's also worked with our budget, with the district's budget, and has been such a big help in like, hey, can I bring this to you? So Broken But Together is about how humanity is broken and there's chaos and there's war and there's famine and there's so many terrible things, but humanity really needs to come together and be about community and love for each other. And so this is the last in his series of Broken But Together. And the series has a few other sculptures where the couple is either holding hands or standing adjacent or looking at each other. And this is the one where they're showing the most love, where they're actually embracing. Also his work and all the other work, all the artists built stuff that will last in our climate. So that's really amazing. Snyder is actually back in town tonight, coming back from Berlin. So he did the graffiti mural behind The Only Way Out Is Through. He did the Phoenix. He's actually going to grace us with 2 more pieces this week. He's doing his iconic zebra and tiger. So those are all over Berlin, really well received. So he's doing those in 2 other tunnels. And then we have Kendall Rose, who's local from Denver. She's going to collaborate with him and do something beautiful about water and ice on the opposing sides. And then Olivia has a studio in Berlin and Mexico, but she's actually an American contemporary artist. And she's really just kind of been the first person who believed in me with the art and told me, like, this makes sense and you should get all these other artists on. So she's been a cheerleader for us and also really instrumental in bringing 15 different pieces out.
The pieces have a diversity in perspective, a diversity in style. I imagine they're all very deeply connected to your personal tastes and worldview to a degree. How does it feel when you are walking through the art park and you see people enjoying this art that resonated so deeply with you?
I feel like chills. I feel like I want to cry. When Roberta nominated us for the Colorado Award last year, the CBCA Award, I literally cried. I grew up with the art background, but I never thought anybody would believe in me with the art. You know, it was just something I did as a hobby. It was something that was a passion project. But to actually have been able to really curate a collection that will stand the test of time, that people love and it resonates with them on an emotional level too, it just makes me so happy. I feel so enriched. I also tried to choose, you know, a lot of the best art comes out of pain and suffering. But what I really tried to do was choose the most happy, emotive art that I could, because I felt like this community and the times we've been in, 2017 till now. Well, when I was in college, it was 2008. And in LA, they were doing Prop 8 voting against gay marriage or for gay marriage. And that was really hard for me to be there in such a divisive time. So for me, art has always been about an escape from the negative and into the positive and how we can have a better future.
We're all looking forward to the inaugural Aurora Borealis Festival just a few weeks from this recording. What was your initial reaction when my bosses approached you with the idea?
At first, I said, oh my goodness, it would be great to have it there, but could we really? Like, we don't have our dining, retail, shopping yet. Are you sure you want to do it here? And then I was like, oh my gosh, I have to build another parking lot. So it took me a second to be like, wow, I'm so honored to have the Aurora Borealis, especially because we put Aurora in our first name, the Aurora Highlands. So it means a lot to have it there, to have it by the airport, and to include, that was my one caveat. I said, yes, but can we include the art walk in this? Can we light up the art walk? Because it's really beautiful at night. And if we're really going to see 3,000 to 5,000 people a day, as our studies have shown us and the ticket sales have shown us, I want people to have space to move around freely and explore and not just have to stay in one spot. I'm a crazy festival goer. I go to Burning Man. I go to Coachella. So I love exploring. It's
incredible to have such a visionary partner, though, that can help guide us as we develop what this vision is. Somebody who also has vision for this community connection that comes from an event like this and can also put a vision behind it. I mean, that's exciting for us as a team, and grateful for your partnership on this.
Thank you. I am so excited. I love also that it's a 3-day event. It's really giving me Coachella Festival vibes. and also like Holiday Park at night. So I love this. I can't wait to see people interact with it and to come out. And I love that it's a free festival. So really just want to touch on that. The art is always available for people to come 365, 24/7. We do recommend you come sunrise and sunset for the very best photos. But we're working hard to have nighttime installations out. And I just love that Aurora Borealis is for everybody to come, even if you don't live in Aurora.
Yep.
And I can't wait to see like how we interact and have food trucks and other installations and just see people have fun.
We're incredibly excited for it. Incredibly excited also for the overall development of the Aurora Highlands community and everything you're doing in the Aerotropolis region. Let's zoom out. What is the vision for you 5, 10, 15, 50 years from now? What would you love to see?
Okay, 50 years from now, I'm going to be 85, and I'm so excited. I hope that there are 100,000 people living in the Aurora Highlands, that all 5 schools are built, that the hospital campus has expanded to its full capacity and looks just like the beautiful one in Castle Rock, the Adventist hospital there. I hope that we have a internship program that pulls from the APS schools to work with some of the community partners that are in the area, whether it's to the hospital or to the development side or even the hospitality side with having the shopping dining area there. I hope that our trees are huge and big and beautiful like the old parts of Denver are. That's the biggest thing. When you have a new community, we have to start with little trees. We try to get as big of trees as we can, but they're only so big. And they can only weather on so hard when these winters are hard on us. So I hope in 50 years there's so much more shade, so much more greenery, and that we've seen a few more generations of people come in.
And legacy, that word keeps popping up. I mean, you and your father are going to be remembered for creating something really dynamic that shaped our community. And, in 100 years, 200 years, people are going to say, and, Carla Ferreira curated this amazing park and this community that generations of people have loved, and my grandparents lived here and my grandchildren played in this park. Like, that's got to feel really life affirming, knowing that you're going to have this indelible mark on people for generations to come.
That makes me feel so honored and proud, and I lost a lot of enthusiasm and my own confidence when I was in art school. I went to Otis, and it was really difficult for me. And just in my personal life, I just got a divorce. So I've been through some things where like my personal confidence and self-esteem has come down a lot. But seeing people love the art and love the community, and this notion that 50 to 100 years people will remember it and love it, makes me feel like I've done something and I have some purpose. And so that makes me feel very enriched. Thank you.
You have tremendous purpose. Thank you, Carla Ferreira, Principal Developer and CEO at the Aurora Highlands. Learn more at theaurorahighlands.com, and make sure to join us for the Aurora Borealis Festival, a celebration of light, taking over Wing Melody Park at the Aurora Highlands, November 1st through the 3rd. You can learn more about the festival and reserve your free tickets now at auroraborealisfestival.com. Carla, thank you for the time today.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Gateway to the Rockies podcast. Visit Aurora is the official destination marketing organization for the city of Aurora, Colorado, and acts as the primary liaison between meeting planners and hotel partners. As Aurora's Convention and Visitors Bureau, Visit Aurora's mission is grounded in showcasing Aurora as a premier destination for meetings, business, and leisure travel. Visit Aurora represents more than 75 plus hotel properties with 13,500 plus guest rooms and more than 1 million square feet of meeting space, including Colorado's largest resort, Gaylord Rockies Resort and Convention Center. As Colorado's third largest city, Aurora is located minutes away from Denver International Airport and showcases mountain views, memorable meeting spaces, and 250 plus international eateries that offer a unique experience for each and every visitor. As the gateway to the Rockies, Visit Aurora's role in the local community goes beyond marketing the city as a destination. The Visit Aurora team is here to assist you with your Colorado visit, from facilitating your meeting, event, or convention to helping you discover local flavor and attractions. Go beyond the boardroom in Aurora, Colorado. For more, visit us at visitaurora.com.